and it was later set to music, to a popular tune. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? So it's dawn. Do you see there what so proud we were of when the sun set? whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly gleaming, streaming. That's great. We were watching the stars and stripes. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Question mark. That's the great line. The land of the free and the home of the brave. Let me just take 1 second to mention that if you study history, the largest and most heavily armed armies of history are fielded by democracies. Democracies. On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes, what is that which the breeze o'er the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected now shines on the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh long may it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And where is that band so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country, should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand. They have to stand. They have to stand between their loved homes and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. What's that power? It's not God, it's philosophy. Then conquer we must when our cause is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust, and the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. You ask me, you tell me, which of those national anthems is more powerful, more potent, has more import? Which one of them is greater? But somebody said, someone had to say it because I heard it from somewhere. They said, if the student doesn't surpass the teacher, then the teacher has failed. So America surpassed Britain. We have to give them our due respect and recognize the lessons we learned from their history. And they have to give us the due respect of recognizing that their system is not sufficient. They shouldn't just piddle along being proud of their little heritage, and they're not proud of their heritage and they're forgetting it, but they shouldn't just go along doing what they're doing. They should revise and revolt and have a constitution like ours. They're the only other country on the frickin' planet that might try. Maybe Australia. That's the option. That's the only option for freedom in the future, is for us to rally behind the culture that we see in Britain for the last 5, 6, 7 centuries, and the culture we see in America for the last 3 or 4 centuries. Rally behind that, and there's no other issue today. There's not a different issue. Education is important every minute of the day because someone has to be able to think. And not a few periods of history were pivoted on educational movements. Not a few. I just have one last point to make. You know and I know that we're talking about Islam here. We're talking about the battle between Islam and the secular ideology of freedom and rights that comes from the Anglo-Saxon tradition. And I believe that just as the Cold War became history overnight, just as the Nazis became history overnight, slavery became history overnight, and all three of them have been a headache ever since. Even the Nazis haven't gone away. People are still Nazis. There are still literal Nazis. You know that as well as I do. And publications that spout Nazism to this day. That's fine. All those things ended overnight, and yet haven't gone away. Militant Islam will end overnight because they can't really believe in the way that me and you believe. I mean, they believe enough to blow themselves up, but it's all a fad, and the people who do that are part of a fad. Might last centuries. I don't think it's going to, because America's involved. So it's going to be just like those other situations. It's going to cost money and time, and it's going to be difficult, but eventually it's going to be a bizarre historical oddity, like the Cold War, or slavery in America, or the fact that women didn't have the vote. Lots of different things in America are just artifacts of the past. And Islam, militant Islam, will just be an artifact of the past once it's defeated, because how do I put it? Let me put it this way. 6% of the world produces 50% of the world's military output. 94% of the world produces the other 50%. That fact alone tells you that the one group owns the world. Sorry if you don't like that fact. I think it's a good fact. I don't have any problem with it. I can't imagine a better group to own the world. Britain maybe, but no, not actually. If you look at history, they're the second best. They came right before us. Who's the next best after us? I don't know. Maybe America's next incarnation. Maybe we could change America a little bit. Maybe we could repeal a couple of our amendments. Maybe we could make a couple of new amendments. Congress shall not restrict the freedom of trade. Congress shall make no law abridging the right of freedom of speech with regard to causing offense, blah 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 blah. And list a couple of things. You have to do this. Every once in a while it might even need to be done. I hesitate. Jefferson said every generation there should be a revolution and a new constitution. That's outrageous. But every once in a while you might need to just update it a bit, say the new threat is this. It can't be a totalitarian state. It has to be under the strictures like ours. It's very difficult to amend our constitution. And when the whole country sees that they are being strangled to death and dying, then they can get the power together to make major changes that can save the country. And we have enough flexibility to do that, and we should be able to do that in the future. And the fact that we are available, and the fact that we have so much power compared to the rest of the world, we are the military power of the world for a reason. There's a reason behind our productiveness and our efficiency. Our productiveness and efficiency don't lead to these things. Our productiveness and efficiency come from these things, namely our virtues. The United States of America is not a bad place. We do bad things. We send people overseas